Coming to you from deep inside the bowels of a great big empty. Get ready for another episode of The Home Defense Show with Skip Coryell.
Hello, American families. Welcome to this week's episode of The Home Defense Show. I'm your host, Skip Coryell. And if you love your family, care about them deeply, and want to learn how to protect them in every facet of your life, then you've come to the right place. We got a good show for you today. It's a great show because we have Doug Giles. Doug Giles from ClashDaily.com. Doug is one of the funniest guys that I ever have on the show. He is just funnier than a rubber crutch. He's just, the way he talks is just so much different. It's like he stays awake at night to think of these funny things to say, and then he gives them to us like pearls of wisdom. He'll be on in segments 2 and 3. We're going to talk about the Second Amendment March because he is going to be speaking at the Second Amendment March. So if you want a prelude, a preview of the Second Amendment March, then hey, you want to check out Doug Giles in segments 2 and 3 of today's show. In the meantime, go to ClashDaily.com and check him out. All right, what's been going on? Oh man, I've been teaching a lot of classes. Had an advanced class, a level 3 class, then I had a level 1 class this past weekend and a basic class, and I've been battling my own personal demons. That's right. I'm shooting low, which you all know means I'm anticipating the recoil. So I'm battling the shot anticipation recoil. I hate when that happens. I just hate it because it's like you know you're doing it, you know why you're doing it, you know how you're doing it, but it's hard to stop. You know, and I've been searching all over YouTube trying to find out, all right, what's the fix? There must be an easy fix for this. And all everyone wants to talk about is how do you determine whether or not you're anticipating the recoil? Well, I already know that. I'm shooting low, okay? You know, I can put in snap caps, I can do all these things, but I already know the problem. I need to know how to fix the problem. And I've run across several drills that might be helpful. I'll go ahead, I'll check that out. I'll do more practice, do more dry fire, do all these things. But if you've got something that helped you stop anticipating your recoil, please send me an email, skipcoryell@hotmail.com, skipcoryell@hotmail.com. Please help me slay my shot anticipation demons because they've got to go. All right, man, I had a bad night last night. I was in great pain for most of the night. You know that fall it's pretty much here, folks. It's been getting cool, isn't it? And we're supposed to have a polar vortex all winter long here in the state of Michigan. I've been cutting a lot of firewood. Yesterday, I was canning tomato sauce, and oh man, I had it on a hot water bath, and we're boiling it down. I let it go too long. I forgot about it, and when I got to it, the water was all gone. And that usually means that the jars of tomato sauce are superheated because the water keeps it at a cooler temperature. So I put it on, took it off the stove so it would stop heating up. I set it on the table and then took off the cover. I should have left the cover on because as soon as that cool air hit those superheated jars, glass jars of tomato sauce, one of them exploded right into my chest and my face. And I've got second-degree burns on my right cheek, on my nose, on my throat, on my arms. And it's not fun. It's not fun at all. And it's funny to watch people when I'm talking to people. It's like they can't stop looking at my face. And I've had situations like that, where someone's got like a mole or a wart on the end of their nose. And it's like you're trying not to look at it, but the more you try not to look at it, you look at it even more. And it's happening with people because, there are parts of my face where the skin was melted right off. And, it's not, Quasimodo, bad, but, there's just a couple of patches on my face where the skin was burned right off. They're not third-degree burns. They weren't deep, so in a couple of weeks, it'll be okay, and you'll probably be able to look at me without vomiting, which is always good. I wanted to read something. In my last video, one of the last videos, I put out something basically about active shooters, and I talked about how people don't want to get involved and they don't want to put themselves in danger to help another innocent person. They want to pick and choose who they get involved with or who they save, right? And in my mind, that just was despicable to me. And I just thought, am I the only one? But then I get this email, an article from Gabe Suarez from Suarez International. I'm on his email list. And Gabe is one of our sponsors. He's just got some really good stuff. And he puts it all in perspective. It says, terrorist at the market. Could you take the shot? We will be continuing the series of discussion, noting the sort of soft target that the terrorist favors. Just last week, the Americans were on the spot and thwarted a terrorist. Today may be our turn. Be ready. All one has to do is research the notable events in the past 5 years to get an idea. But one picture is worth 1,000 words. Here we have a primary aisle of a market, a shot of about 80 yards. That's a long shot, folks. Super long shot with a pistol. Picture the scene. You just finished your paleo shopping and have an armful of eggs, bacon, meat, and veggies. Then you hear the first shot as you turn the corner to get to the checkout stand. The terrorist is down there, somewhere. Aloha snack bar. I love this guy's sense of humor. Or maybe he's not joking, I don't know. And more shooting. As people clear the aisles in terror, you see him, 65 yards away with an AK-47 and a bag full of magazines. We're talking about not literature, okay? Ammo magazines. Could you change history with what you have in your belt right now, or are you just another witness? I think he's asking, are you carrying a 5-shot revolver, a Smith & Wesson bodyguard, or do you have, a Glock with a 15-round magazine, full frame? Oh, and those noble, courageous souls that carry, quote, only for their own and their family's protection, and to hell with everyone else, unquote, and will adamantly remind us of that, I will ask them this. This is important. Listen to this. Your family is not always with you, are they? Not at all. They are alone at school, at the store, and when you are at work. When you are with them, you are the protector. Understood. And their safety is above all else. But when you are not with them, which is a sizable amount of their day, do you want someone like me to intervene and save them? Or would it be acceptable for me to flee to safety and allow them to die at the hands of the terrorist because I am armed? Only for my own protection. Honest question, is it not? And you know what? That just did my little heart good to see him write that, because that's exactly what I was talking about, a week, 10 days ago. If I'm there, you want me to protect your wife, your 9-year-old son, or whatever. And if you're there, I want you to protect my 8-year-old daughter, Amethyst. Okay, I want you to protect my wife. You have the ability. All you need is the courage, right? And the resolve to follow through with it. Now, whether or not you can make that 65-yard shot, that's another matter. But practice, 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 and don't shoot low, right? So, hey, I'll practice, you'll practice, and then I'll protect yours and you protect mine. That's a social contract that both our families can live with. All right, I want to cut this segment short simply because, we've got Doug Giles coming up. I want to get into that. I think you're going to love the interview. You're going to laugh. You're going to think hard. The guy's just funny as can be. Remember, Second Amendment March, September 10, Lansing State Capitol, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. I will be there. I'll have all of my books. I'll be speaking. So will Doug Giles. So will Colonel Denny Gillum. So we're going to have a great time there. Please take a half a day off work and meet us there. You won't regret it. Coming up in segment 2, Doug Giles, owner-creator of ClashDaily.com and Clash Radio. While we're away, go ahead and check out our sponsors, firearmslegal.com/MidwestTactical. See how they can protect you legally, and then learn how to shoot at Center Shot Indoor Gun Range. Center Shot Indoor Gun Range. CenterShotGunRange.com, where it's always a perfect 70 degrees. And then our newest sponsor, Suarez International, SuarezInternational.com, and get some good training and learn how to make those 65-yard headshots. Skip Coriel Home Defense Show. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Welcome to the Home Defense Show with my dad, Skip Coriel. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
Do you have a story inside you yearning to come out? As a self-published author, you are free to creatively distribute your book online or using your own professional connections. White Feather Press will publish your manuscript and set up online distribution, allowing the author to retain all copyright and distribution rights as well as all profits. Check out White Feather Press at publishyourdream.com. White Feather Press, reaffirming faith in God, family, and country. Go to publishyourdream.com today. Hey folks, I want to tell you about my book, Civilian Combat, the Concealed Carry Book. More and more people across the country are seeing the dangers in society and are deciding to carry concealed to protect themselves and their families. My new book lays it out step by step. It'll teach you how to protect and defend the ones you love. Get the benefit of 19 years of teaching experience and a lifetime of training for this important role in society and in your family. You can get Civilian Combat real easy. Just go to Amazon.com, search on Skip Coriel Civilian Combat, and it'll pop right up there. Don't put it off any longer. Get Civilian Combat, the Concealed Carry Book by yours truly, Skip Coriel. Hey folks, this is Skip Coriel, host of the Home Defense Show, and I'm here to tell you that owning a gun doesn't make you a gunfighter any more than owning a guitar makes you a rock star. And that's why you need the services of a man who's been on the streets and experienced the ins and outs of real-life gunfights. I'm talking about Gabe Suarez from Suarez International down in Arizona. Gunfighting is a skill set that has to be learned and practiced, and there's no better gunfighter training in the country than Gabe Suarez. Gabe's tactical pistol, rifle, and shotgun classes are all top-notch and have been proven in combat. But you need more than the best training. You'll also need the best gear. Gabe Suarez designs and builds the best combat firearms in the country. Guns like the Glock 17 Gutter Snipe, with its Suarez match-grade barrel, signature flat trigger, and match-grade slide, topped off with a rugged RMR Trigagon sight of your choosing. The Gutter Snipe will make you the best at protecting yourself and your family. So drop what you're doing right now and go to SuarezInternational.com and see how Gabe Suarez can help make you the best gunfighter that you can be. That's SUAREZ International.com. SuarezInternational.com. Would you like to take your tactical and marksmanship training to the next level? If the answer is yes, you need to check out Center Shot Indoor Gun Range just south of Grand Rapids, conveniently located off US 131. Center Shot is one of the most advanced firing ranges in Michigan. Center Shot firing lanes have nearly 100 customizable shooting programs to make you better no matter what your skill level. Our advanced lanes allow a more immersive training experience to enhance your senses. Controlled lighting and target movement mean that you get the best practice and most fun out of Center Shot Indoor Gun Range. Memberships are available for as low as $150. Center Shot also offers a 10% discount to U.S. military veterans. So, no matter what the weather, hot, cold, or in between, Center Shot Indoor Gun Range is always a perfect 70 degrees. This is where I train every week, and so should you. Find out more by going to CenterShotGunRange.com or call them at 616-371-7468. Stay safe, and I'll see you at Center Shot Indoor Gun Range.
This is Colonel Danny Gillum. I host Frontlines of Freedom, a weekly syndicated military talk radio show. One of my co-hosts is Skip Coriel, the host of this show. We cover things that impact military and veteran communities, and we do it from the veteran's perspective. The show is broadcast across the nation and is also available as a podcast on our website, frontlinesoffreedom.com. Please join Skip and me weekly on Frontlines of Freedom.
Okay, folks, welcome back to the Home Defense Show. There's your host, Skip Coriel. Boy, today we have a special treat. We have one of my favorite guys to talk to, Doug Giles from ClashDaily. Doug, welcome to the Home Defense Show.
Skip, how you doing, big dog?
I am doing fantastic. It's great. I'm cutting firewood. I'm getting ready for deer hunting season. I'm writing books. I am doing podcasts. I'm living the American dream, and I know you are too.
You gotta love it, man. Can't do this in Iraq.
That's true. So, hey, well, first, before we launch into anything complicated here, tell the listeners who may not have heard of you yet, who is Doug Giles? What kind of stuff you got going on?
I'm just a simple old redneck, man, from Lubbock, Texas, that moved to Miami and spent 20 years there and moved back to the motherland 4 years ago and to get close to my grandchildren. You know how that goes, don't you?
Oh, gosh, yeah. Well,
yeah, so I've been in the ministry for 25 years. Launched ClashDaily in 2012. That was 260 million page views ago. Written a few bestsellers that you happen to have published. And I'm just an artist, author, hunter, provocateur. And our latest new book, Would Jesus Vote for Trump? Skip, it went to number 7 in public affairs and the administration, much to the chagrin of Mayor Pete Buttigieg.
That guy. Well, tell me about that book. Just spend a minute. What's that book about?
Yeah, so going into the 2016 election, there was several GOP Never Trumpkins. I get the left loathes Donald Trump. And what I didn't get was, these supposed evangelical Never Trumpkins who said that anybody who took their faith seriously couldn't get behind Donald Trump in his person and his policies. They predicted he would flip-flop and become this Democrat. And, of course, he hasn't. And I would say from a policy standpoint, he's the Christian's best friend. This guy is tabling a constitutional Judeo-Christian worldview like nobody's business. The Heritage Foundation has kind of like a conservative liberty scorecard of 334 different ditties that they check off to whether somebody is actually, governing according to the Constitution and supporting traditional values. And at this juncture, Ronald Reagan checked off 49. Trump's hit 64 at the date of publishing. I haven't checked up on him lately. But me and my co-author, Brandon Ballerani, we wanted to go and show, the believers, if they're still waffling, whether they should support Donald Trump or not, that what he's doing, if you run it through the sieve of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John in particular, that he's on solid biblical ground. And as far as his past goes, this is something that really pissed me off, Skip. In regards to Trump's past, they're like, well, how can you support somebody who's been married 3 times, could have had sex with a porn star and playmates and used to hang out at Hef's Grotto? And I go, oh, you mean like King David who committed adultery and murder, like Abraham? Yeah, like Abraham who committed adultery, lied about being married twice, gave his wife to 2 kings 2 times. Mm-hmm. And then you got Noah who fell down drunk with his junk out. And then Samson, oh my gosh, he actually bumped uglies with a hooker, mm-hmm. married a girl like Miley Virus, and lit 300 foxes on fire. Can you imagine PETA and the Humane Society going after him on that one, and what kind of CNN hashtag wars would be levied against Samson? And then Moses, he was a murderer running from the law who had massive anger issues. And so my whole thing with the person of Trump was taking, again, the evangelical Never Trumpkins to task with this, God doesn't use these kind of people. That's all he uses. That's all he has to deal with when you're talking about fallen humanity. And here's another thing that I like about them saying, well, we like what he's doing, but we don't like, his caustic behavior and his mean tweets. And, he calls Rosie O'Donnell a pig. He calls CNN fake news. I go, oh, you mean kind of similar to Christ calling out the Pharisees and using some of the strongest invectives known to mankind? And Skip, you're going to love this one. In Matthew 15, Jesus called the Syrophoenician woman. This is somebody that's a foreigner who has a kid that's full of the devil. He told her, he said, I don't give the children's bread to dogs. Jesus called the woman a dog. Yeah. And listen, dogs back then, they weren't these little accoutrements that sassy women take to the wine bar to get drunk with their abhorrent friends. These were butt-sniffing, crotch-licking, vomit-eating, carrying, cleaning mongrels, and that's what Christ compared her to. So I would say that there's a lot of overlap for Trump's mean tweets, because that 30-year-old rebel that kicked up dust on the mean streets of the Middle East 2,000 years ago, he was not averse whatsoever to letting somebody have it right up between the eyes when they're filled with lies, hype, and spin. And also, going back to the Syrophoenician woman, throwing a riddle at her, seeing if she would take up the offense. She didn't, and he said, "Boom, lady, you're healed." She said, "Yeah, but dogs eat the crumbs that fall from the master's table." And he said, "Right answer."
Doug, it sounds like a person's greatest strength is also their greatest weakness. And I think that's true with me. I mean, that with Donald Trump. I mean, everyone always says, if they just take away his Twitter account. Well, if they did that, wouldn't that be a violation of the First Amendment and just anti-freedom? But, that's the reason people like him. That's the reason people voted for him, because he's got enough balls to stand up to the far left and to, the Republicans, who aren't really on base all the time. So, Skip, that's very Christ-like, because, like I did the chapter in the book, Pussification, the Effeminization of the American Male, that you published. I have a whole chapter on the masculine qualities of Christ. And listen, he was an equal opportunity offender, folks. He didn't care, if you were his disciple. He didn't care if you were a religious leader. He didn't care if you were Herod. Again, if you were on the wrong side of business, he'll call you out, and he'll do it in front of people. He'll do it at dinner with you. He'll do it in the temple. He was bold, and like you said about Trump and his testicular fortitude, Reagan had trickle-down economics. I think Trump, and you see the effects in like Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham and several other rhinos who are, kind of coalescing with the left a little bit. He's had trickle-down testicular fortitude that's showing people that, listen, you don't have to eat crap and ask for seconds. You can tell them enough's enough and do it in a fun, comedic type way and do it constantly. I love how he's constantly calling out, nonsense on both sides of the aisle. Yeah, this is Skip Coryell on Home Defense Show. We're speaking with Doug Giles from ClashDaily about Donald Trump. I think one of the things people really like about him is his masculinity, his manliness. And it's, and here's the thing, Doug. I didn't vote for him in the primary. I wanted someone, with a more proven conservative track record. But, as the election cycle wore on, I liked him more and more and more, because of his brashness, his sassiness. And I thought, you know what? He's probably not going to do what he says he's going to do, but at least he's saying it, and he acts like he means what he says. And I'll be darned if he got elected and he's doing exactly what he promised he would do, and there are still a lot of Republicans that don't like him. I don't get it.
Oh, they're jealous because their crystal ball was wrong, and their prognostications of who would win were more off base than Pete Rose on a wild pitch. Mm-hmm. I mean, I like Ted Cruz. I know Ted Cruz. He smoked Safari cigar after the debate that Donald dusted him in Houston of July in 2015. I like Ben Carson. There's several of the guys that were running that I like. Several of them I dislike. But the people who still have a Paul Bunyan-sized axe to grind against Trump, I think it's all because they were flat out wrong. There's this guy on Facebook. He's an outspoken conservative writer. He's a minister. He predicted, again, Trump would get crushed in the primaries. He predicted Trump would get crushed by Hillary in the general election. And he still can't let it go, man. He's still kind of like Bill Maher and the left, hoping for a recession, hoping for something cataclysmic so that poor little insecure tinkerpot can be proven right somehow. But you're right, man. Trump came in there and he did exactly what he said he was going to do. And here's what I told this one guy, again, very smart young man. He's like, Trump's going to, be a dictator and he's going to flip-flop. It's like, listen, I think he's got enough self-love and narcissism for the name Trump that he doesn't want to, he doesn't want to go off this blue marble having completely failed or lied to people. And, it could be higher motivation. But that definitely is a motivation of Trump to leave this place a better place than he got it, with so much winning as he predicted, that who knows, man, maybe scaffolding will be built on Mount Rushmore, and his noggin will get put up there with the other four.
That would drive the left crazy, and the rhinos.
I did a painting called Mount Trumpmore, and I already put him up there, and that thing sold immediately, and we're selling the crap out of the prints.
Yeah, Doug, I've always admired your paintings, all of your artwork. Talk about some of the artwork that you've put out, because I mean the artwork that you're doing the last couple of years, it must be driving the left mad.
Yeah, they definitely aren't in the line to buy it, but I'm telling you, the people who love God and country, they're buying stacks of it. I mean, we crushed it in the fourth quarter of last year. We're expecting to crush it again this year. Doing a lot of Trump paintings, comedic type stuff. I've got one as him as Angus Young in the full schoolboy AC/DC outfit, and the title of that one's Highway to DC instead of Highway to Hell, the 2020 tour. I've got Trump as General Patton. I got him as James Dean on a motorcycle that says Rebel on the gas tank with the wall behind him. I've got, I think, like 19 Trump paintings. All of them have sold before I finish them at a premium. And the prints are selling, like I said, like crazy. And I'm going to bring some to the Second Amendment March. So if anybody wants some funny stuff that'll trigger their liberal aunt that's got the mustache or their snowflake socialist college kid, this is the perfect fodder to hang on the wall and get some good laughs. Matter of fact, I tell people all the time, hang it in the common area where liberals will pass through and video them as they put their eyeballs on it. and then send the video to ClashDaily.com for some good chuckles.
Yeah, I'd pay to watch that video. I really would. All right, folks, this is Skip Coriolan, Home Defense Show. We're speaking with Doug Giles from ClashDaily.com. We're out of time for this segment, but we're going to take a little 2-minute break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about Doug Giles and the Second Amendment March at the Lansing State Capitol on September 10th. Boy, we're going to have a really good time, so just hold on for another 2 minutes here. While we're away, check out our sponsors, firearmslegal.com/Midwest Tactical, and also Center Shot Indoor Gun Range, centershotgunrange.com, where it's always a perfect 70 degrees. And, of course, check out Gabe Suarez at Suarez International. This is Skip Coriolan, the Home Defense Show. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
This is Felix Coriel on the Home Defense Show. Always use guns safely and wisely. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hey folks, this is Skip Coriel, host of the Home Defense Show, and I'm here to tell you that owning a gun doesn't make you a gunfighter any more than owning a guitar makes you a rock star. And that's why you need the services of a man who's been on the streets and experienced the ins and outs of real-life gunfights. I'm talking about Gabe Suarez from Suarez International down in Arizona. Gunfighting is a skill set that has to be learned and practiced, and there's no better gunfighter training in the country than Gabe Suarez. Gabe's tactical pistol, rifle, and shotgun classes are all top-notch and have been proven in combat. But you need more than the best training. You'll also need the best gear. Gabe Suarez designs and builds the best combat firearms in the country. Guns like the Glock 17 Gutter Snipe, with its Suarez match-grade barrel, signature flat trigger, and match-grade slide, topped off with a rugged RMR Trigagon sight of your choosing. The Gutter Snipe will make you the best at protecting yourself and your family. So drop what you're doing right now and go to SuarezInternational.com and see how Gabe Suarez can help make you the best gunfighter that you can be. That's SUAREZ International.com. SuarezInternational.com.
Wouldn't it be wonderful if life was like the movies and the good guys always won? In today's world, if you're forced to use your firearm to protect yourself, you will need protection. Firearms Legal Protection is here for you. FLP provides you with seasoned, experienced attorneys that handle your criminal and civil matters as a result of you protecting yourself. FirearmsLegal.com provides its members with uncapped attorney's fees, bail bond protection, and coverage in all 50 states. We are not a reimbursement plan. You can access uncapped attorney's fees for as low as $10 a month. Firearms Legal members are provided with educational services, training videos, and access to our vast national attorney network. While you're protecting yourself, let Firearms Legal protect you.
Listen up, folks. This is important. There are plenty of legal protection services out there, but none will protect you as well as Firearms Legal Protection. This is the one I use and the only one I recommend. Visit firearmslegal.com/Midwest Tactical and protect your family now. Would you like to take your tactical and marksmanship training to the next level? If the answer is yes, you need to check out Center Shot Indoor Gun Range just south of Grand Rapids, conveniently located off US 131. Center Shot is one of the most advanced firing ranges in Michigan. Center Shot firing lanes have nearly 100 customizable shooting programs to make you better no matter what your skill level. Our advanced lanes allow a more immersive training experience to enhance your senses. Controlled lighting and target movement mean that you get the best practice and most fun out of Center Shot Indoor Gun Range. Memberships are available for as low as $150. Center Shot also offers a 10% discount to U.S. military veterans. So, no matter what the weather, hot, cold, or in between, Center Shot Indoor Gun Range is always a perfect 70 degrees. This is where I train every week, and so should you. Find out more by going to CenterShotGunRange.com or call them at 616-371-7468. Stay safe, and I'll see you at Center Shot Indoor Gun Range. Hey folks, I want to tell you about my new book, Concealed Carry for Christians. More and more people across the country are seeing the dangers in society and are deciding to carry concealed to protect themselves and your family, and that includes people of faith. Our churches are not as safe as they used to be, and that's why I included chapters on forming church safety teams and stopping mass shooters. You can get Concealed Carry for Christians real easy. Just go to Amazon.com, search on Skip Coryell, Concealed Carry for Christians, and it'll pop right up there. Don't put it off any longer. Get Concealed Carry for Christians by yours truly, Skip Coryell. Okay, folks, welcome back to the Home Defense Show. This is your host, Skip Coryell. We are speaking today with my friend Doug Giles from Texas and ClashDaily.com. Doug, boy, we are excited up here in Michigan to have you fly on up here to speak to us at the Second Amendment right there on the state capitol. You're going to get there, and there's going to be well over 1,000 people with guns, all excited about the Second Amendment. I hope you're excited as well.
Bro, that's some of the safest places in America right there, with a bunch of God and country Second Amendment lovers, open carrying. This guy said, aren't you concerned? Like, heck no, man. The only person I'm concerned about is, if you get some Antifa protester start talking smack and punching little blue-haired old ladies. I don't think it's going to fare well for him.
Well, yeah, you're right. And oddly enough, we've been doing this march for almost 10 years now. And the only time we've ever had anything violent was when we had some anti-gun people come in and physically harass people and attack people. And the state police, the Capitol security, had to haul them away. It's odd, though. It's like, they're just so crazy, so bizarre.
But I like how I like how they're against violence and they attack y'all.
Yes, I know.
And plus who attacks a group that they're all wielding long rifles and sidearms. But again, that's the left. I think the violent aspect of the left and the way that they're rolling and all the physical hissy fits that they're throwing across the country. I think it just shows that socialism is unpalatable. It's unreasonable. It doesn't work. Everywhere it's been tried, it's been found way wanting. If people need an example, I've got 4 words for them: Venezuela. And so since their ideas are vapid, they got to resort to violence, threat and coercion.
Yeah. Well, if you can't hold your own in a verbal debate, all that's left is either walking away or violence, and they're not going to walk away.
But it's part of their manifesto. Everywhere that it happened. I mean, you look at the gun confiscations and Stalin's Russia and Nazi Germany and Cambodia, on and on and on. Every time, they took weapons, said, hey, the police and the military will take care of you, which I believe there's a movie about that. I can't remember its name. Oh, yeah, Schindler's List. And it really didn't go down very well, that people were rounded up and slaughtered, as you well know, I think to the tune of, 56 million in the last 20th century?
Oh, yeah. It will everywhere you confiscate guns, it's followed. Not always right away. I was doing some research on that yesterday. Sometimes it takes 10, 15 years for the government to commit genocide. But eventually, that's what happens, whether it's in Cambodia or China or the Soviet Union or Nazi Germany. That's what's always happened in the past. So you'd think people would go, duh, maybe we should not get rid of our guns.
Well, here's what the left does. I saw Tim Ryan, who's running for president, and out of Ohio, who I think he's got, 1%. People that are behind him, which is 1% above me, and I'm not even running for president as a Democrat. He said, we don't want to ever take everybody's guns away. I'm a hunter. I go duck hunting with my son. He said, we don't mind, you hunting and you doing X, Y, and Z with rifles. First of all, the Second Amendment has crap all to do with hunting. It's about tyranny. Next, you have the Brown Bess, you have the Kentucky long rifle, which were the assault weapons back in the day, because the Brits have got these smooth-bore lagoons that's got a trajectory kind of like Rosie O'Donnell's acting career. I mean, it's just lumping, these round musket balls, while these guys with rifled weapons are picking them off like squirrels at 100 yards. They wanted those weapons at Lexington and Concord, and they said, no thanks.
Yeah.
And but this whole thing about, you can keep your hunting guns, and I don't have a bunch of paramilitary weapons, man. I'm a hunter, so most of my weapons are for hunting. But if people think for 1 second that this blather that the Democrats are spewing about your hunting guns, number one, they hate hunting, and number two, they want every gun.
Yeah.
So don't believe this crap, and I guarantee that the dictators that sold it to poor people back in Russia and Germany, in Cambodia and other parts of the world, I guarantee they told them the same crap. This is just for your good. And they slowly boiled the frog until they actually killed the frog in tens of millions.
Yeah. Yeah, Doug, I was doing some research yesterday, and what I found out is that 46% of all the gun ownership on this planet is in the United States. We have 4% of the population, and we own 46% of the guns. So maybe people should just leave us alone.
Well, they can't. Again, the left, they call Trump a Nazi and a fascist, which is weird since he's so close with Israel. Mm-hmm. And they name entire mountain ranges after him. And he keeps his word, more than Bush or Clinton or especially Obama did to our only ally there in the Middle East. So, the fascists are the ones that demand complete adherence, and one of their tenets of their religion, and it is a religion, is no guns, and if you want guns, then you're a heretic, and they're going to try to connive some way, utilize some crisis to pull it from people's hands. If these people want to, we've got to have laws that keep people from murdering people. America has a mental health problem. 2/3 of all those gun-related deaths are suicide. Mm-hmm. Never going to stop people from killing themselves. Food, Skip, chicken fried steak kills 400,000 people annually. Obesity kills more. We're going to start banning food. What about cars or booze?
Yeah.
I mean, the numbers can't even compare. Cigarettes. Oh, here's another one. What about medical malpractice? Mm-hmm. That's nearly 100,000 deaths every year in America. 15 million incidents of medical harm occur each year, and that's according to the Centers of Disease Control. So, again, it's you and I both know this. It's vapid. It doesn't stand any kind of scrutiny whatsoever when you get into people who want to ban death. And I like how they don't say diddly squat about the Saturday night specials, the little 25 autos that are being used in the South Side of Chicago against black crime.
Yeah. Yeah. This is Skip Coryell on Home Defense Show. We're speaking with Doug Giles, the creator of ClashDaily.com. Doug, next month, it's going to be hunting season up here. I know that you are just a real excited, prolific hunter. Tell us about some of the hunting that you like to do.
I love everything, man. If it's gray, it's prey. If it's brown, it's down. I haven't tasted one thing yet, except maybe an old Aoudad sheep I shot in West Texas. That was a little bit gamey, but I dig it all, man. I got to say though that my particular loves run to Africa, and I've been fortunate to have been on 10 safaris, hunted everything from Cecil the lion to 3 Cape buffaloes, pretty much every plains game species that Southern Africa has to offer. And I just love it. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's too expensive. And I was talking to this guy a couple of years ago, big whitetail hunter. I love whitetail hunting. And he's got like 50 whitetails on his wall. It's like, man, break it up. Throw a kudu in here. Throw a gemsbuck. I'm looking at my wildebeest right now, my sable, as I do the interview. And he goes, well, it's too expensive. How much your deer leads? $5,000 a month. How much in food? $5,000 a month. How much for that high-rec truck that you hunt the rims of the canyon? It's probably about $10,000 a month. All the extraneous costs in there, it's like, there you go, man. Take a year off and go to Africa. He went with the intention to spend $10,000 on a 10-day plains game hunt. He and his old man spent $44,000. They went nuts. Because it's just an overload, man. You drive out of camp and boom, there's impala. Yeah. Boom, there's eland. Boom, there's kudu. There's zebra. I mean, it's just amazing. And but man, anything from squirrels to rabbits to, it's just great to get outdoors. And especially living in Miami where that place was so plastic, I had to go beyond the pavement, as Uncle Ted said, and get a regular dose of the irregular wild because I just needed it for my psyche, just therapeutic. Yeah. And, I don't need to tell you what hunters do as far as conservation goes. We literally put our hundreds of millions of dollars where our mouth is in protecting species, flora and fauna, and wetlands and all kinds of different places.
Yeah, for sure. I love hunting. For me, every October 1, I'm out there, archery, deer hunting, and it's one of those things that you can do where you have it's a spiritual benefit to it. You get out there, I'm 20 feet up in the tree, I'm by myself, I'm relaxing, untying all the knots, and, if I see a deer, great. Even if I don't see a deer, I come back relaxed, and my wife says, you know what, if I get too tense, she said, honey, will you go hunting? And I'm going, wow, I have got the right woman.
Yeah, quit thinking about your CPA screwing you. Go hunt.
That's right.
Go hunt. Decompress. What's weird about the whole hunting thing and the outdoors is David said that in Psalm 23, very famous psalm, he said that God restored his soul in green pastures and by still waters. He didn't say he did it in a prefab metal building with a cross slapped on it.
That's right.
And listen, Skip, I'm not against church. I go to church. I'm a Christian. Again, been in the ministry for, going on 3 decades. But there is something magical that happens in the creative order that doesn't go down with a tambourine and a preacher yelling at you.
Yeah.
And again, I'm all for both. But listen, guys, and especially parents, if you don't get your kids out there, then I don't think that they're tethered to their primal roots of being a provider, protector, hunter, and hero. And those archetypes that are built outdoors are very important for your indoor soy boy if he's going to turn into a man in the next 10 to 15 years.
Yeah. All right, Doug, you're going to be up here September 10th. What are you going to talk about? To give us a little preview of what the people are going to hear.
Bro, I don't know. If I tell them, they're not going to come.
I think you've already given us a preview.
I tell you this, brother. The message I have will light wet wood, and we'll have fun. And you got a stack of books. I'll bring some cigars. If some of the boys want to smoke afterwards, we can have a proper powwow.
Awesome. Okay, what books are you going to bring up with you, Doug?
Yeah, so Would Jesus Vote for Trump, obviously, is my latest one. And then, man, all the delicious titles that you've published, Pussification, that thing's still selling, Skip. Blows my mind.
Yes, I know.
Still cranking. And Raising Righteous and Rowdy Girls, a must for parents who have female charges under their tutelage, because it is so important. Here, this guy's talking to me the other day. We've got to teach kids to bully, or teach kids not to bully. It's like, here's what you need to teach daughters in particular, is how to whoop some ass.
Yeah,
that's if you get some 16-year-old zit-faced punk and he does some kind of ham-fisted grab for your 14-year-old daughter's butt. Both my daughters, who are the first two Gracie Valenti black belts in the world, they could snap his arm, get him in a chokehold, and at that juncture they could decide whether they want to let that little horned dog live or die.
Yeah.
And that's important, and because again, you look at the Me Too movement. It's like, oh my gosh, I was in the hotel with Harvey Weinstein at 3:00 in the morning. Well, first of all, what did you think was going to happen at the Chateau Marmont in a luxury suite with a lecherous, well-known 10th degree horn dog, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And but say you get yourself in those kind of situations that seemingly can't extricate yourself from. If you know how to throw down, if you know jiu-jitsu, if you know Krav Maga, if you know any form of martial arts, I guarantee that chunky butt, once he gets throat punched by you or choked out or put in an arm bar, he's going to think twice about messing with you ever again. And my recommendation is lure him to the balcony, think he's going to get somewhere with you, and then toss his ass off the side of the building.
There you go. You know what? I think you've just summed up. That's a synopsis of Doug Giles from ClashDaily.com, and we're going to get a lot more on the Second Amendment March, September 10th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Lansing State Capitol. Bring your favorite gun. Doug, you're going to see some really nice guns there at the march.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to feel kind of naked, man, without one. So maybe one of the attendees could bring their kids a toy gun, maybe a big super soaker, or one of those that have the orange tip, just so I can feel, somewhat relatable and cool.
Well, I think we can handle that for you. Probably something with a little more knockdown power than a super soaker. We've got a lot of guns here in Michigan. Heck, I'll just pull something out of my armory here, and you can use one of mine. It's perfectly legal. And
what about a flamethrower? Has anybody got a flamethrower? I'd love to cart that around, man.
Let me work on that, okay? I got a couple of weeks. We'll work on a flamethrower for Doug Giles.
Or a Tommy gun. I'm looking at my Churchill painting right now where he's smoking a cigar and he's holding a Tommy gun.
That's a nice one.
It would be beautiful.
Hey, Doug, before you go, tell people how they can hook up at Clash Daily.
Yeah, go to ClashDaily.com. Also just launched again ClashRadio.com. And they've got to check out my 2-minute screeds over at ClashRadio.com. It's great stuff, and looks like it's going to be syndicated nationally across Salem Broadcasting to 300 different stations on the weekends.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, like a daily vitamin shot. Okay.
Yeah, it's Paul Harvey. Paul Harvey meets Moses, and then kind of on acid. That's what I'm all about.
Okay. All right, Doug, thank you very much for being on the Home Defense Show today.
Thank you, Skip.
All right. Hey, folks, I know you loved this interview. Doug Giles, fantastic. He will imbue you with courage. And that's what people need today, especially us conservative folks. You got to stand up. You got to be loud, bold, proud, and strong. All right. We got a 2-minute break coming up. While we're away, check out our sponsors, firearmslegal.com/Midwest Tactical, and also Center Shot Indoor Gun Range, centershotgunrange.com, where it's always a perfect 70 degrees. And check out our newest sponsor, Gabe Suarez International, where you can go out there and learn to make those very important center of face shots. This is Skip Coryell on Home Defense Show. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Welcome to my dad's Home Defense Radio show. You're gonna love it.
Hey folks, I want to tell you about my book, Civilian Combat, the Concealed Carry Book. More and more people across the country are seeing the dangers in society and are deciding to carry concealed to protect themselves and their families. My new book lays it out step by step. It'll teach you how to protect and defend the ones you love. Get the benefit of 19 years of teaching experience and a lifetime of training for this important role in society and in your family. You can get Civilian Combat real easy. Just go to Amazon.com, search on Skip Coryell Civilian Combat, and it'll pop right up there. Don't put it off any longer. Get Civilian Combat, the Concealed Carry book by yours truly, Skip Coryell.
This is Colonel Danny Gillum. I host Frontlines of Freedom, a weekly syndicated military talk radio show. One of my co-hosts is Skip Coryell, the host of this show. We cover things that impact military and veteran communities, and we do it from the veteran's perspective. The show is broadcast across the nation and is also available as a podcast on our website, frontlinesoffreedom.com. Please join Skip and me weekly on Frontlines of Freedom. Skip, it's Armed America time.
All of us here at Frontlines of Freedom want our listeners to get trained and get armed in that order. We fully support the right to keep and bear arms for all law-abiding families, and we encourage you to find out about the laws governing use of deadly force in your state and follow them to the letter. And of course, don't forget to follow the rules of safety and common sense whenever you're carrying a firearm to protect the ones you love. What's the story this week, Colonel?
Well, in Washington State, a homeowner encountered a vagrant who had broken into his home. He asked the intruder to leave the premises. However, the transient man refused and began to come through the back door aggressively. He allegedly grabbed the owner of the home. In response, the homeowner grabbed a piece of wood and began to defend himself against the attacker in the kitchen. But this does not deter the homeless man. Fearing for his safety of his wife and himself, the man armed himself with a gun and fired a single shot at the burglary suspect. The homeowner knew that he did the right thing, and the only thing he could do to protect himself and his wife, said a representative of the Thurston County Sheriff's Office. The homeowner will not face any charges. However, the suspect will face charges for first-degree residential burglary upon release from a local hospital, where he was being treated for a gunshot wound to the chest.
Thanks, Colonel. This particular home defense scenario puts the spotlight on a significant problem here in America, and that's the cultural trend of homelessness. According to the National Alliance to End Homelessness, there are over 500,000 homeless people in our country. That comes out to about 17 out of every 10,000 people in the United States. That may not sound like a lot of people, but when those 17 start breaking into homes and committing other violent crimes, then the problem takes on greater importance. California and New York State have the highest rate of homelessness in the country. Many people sympathize with the plight of the homeless, and rightly so. However, when a homeless criminal breaks into your home and attacks your family, that is where the sympathy should end and your protective instincts kick into high gear. There are many reasons these people are homeless. Some have simply fallen on hard times and need a leg up to get back into the saddle. There are programs and agencies to help these people. However, many of these people are homeless for different reasons. Some have severe drug and alcohol addictions, while others are mentally ill. It is extremely difficult for people with these problems to hold down a steady job, and that's why they end up homeless in the first place. But I think it's important to note that homelessness is not a justification for crime. Castle doctrine remains in effect across the nation, whether you are homeless or a white-collar criminal. When someone breaks into your home and threatens your family with death or serious bodily injury, then you have no other choice. Just like the man in this story, you must fight for all you're worth. In this case, he fought him off with a stick until he could get to his preferred tool, a firearm. Then he did what he had to do to protect the ones he loves. And that's what you should do as well. If you haven't already armed yourself and received proper training, then Frontlines of Freedom highly recommends you do so now, because once you're attacked, it's too late.
Well said, bro.
Hey folks, I want to tell you about my new book, Concealed Carry for Christians. More and more people across the country are seeing the dangers in society and are deciding to carry concealed to protect themselves and your family, and that includes people of faith. Our churches are not as safe as they used to be, and that's why I included chapters on forming church safety teams and stopping mass shooters. You can get Concealed Carry for Christians real easy. Just go to Amazon.com, search on Skip Coryell, Concealed Carry for Christians, and it'll pop right up there. Don't put it off any longer. Get Concealed Carry for Christians by yours truly, Skip Coryell. Okay, folks, it's Skip Coryell, host of the Home Defense Show. Welcome back. Doug Giles, awesome guy. That guy is rowdy, and he just pretty much tells it like it is. I love his vernacular. It's like all Doug. He just Dougifies his speech. It's all Doug Giles. And we look forward to having him at the Second Amendment March, September 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Lansing State Capitol. You should go there too. We're going to have a great time, and if you don't do it, you're going to regret it. Go to 2amarch.com. That's the number 2amarch.com, and you can see all the details there. Okay, next week, I believe we will be interviewing Terry Stock, the president of the Second Amendment March. That will be the week before we have our big march there, so you're not going to want to miss that. I'm going to have a video coming out next week, probably a 4 or 5 minute video, and the video is going to be titled, How to Make 5 Headshots in Less Than 2 Seconds. It's a training video. I'm going to show you how I do it, and yes, I can do it, 5 headshots in under 2 seconds while on the move from the draw. So that's always fun. That's always exciting. And, we'll talk about that more when the video comes out, but you don't want to miss that one. It's going to be pretty exciting. All right, once again, I cannot stress enough the Second Amendment March, 2amarch.com. We have got politicians chomping at the bit to take away our right to keep and bear arms. One of the ways you can stop them is by establishing a presence. Okay, going to the Second Amendment March at the Lansing State Capitol and just saying, hey, you can't have my guns. Make a statement. A picture is worth 1,000 words, and that's a sword that cuts both ways, right? If we get there September 10th and there's nobody there, then what message are we sending? Yeah, you can take our guns. Nobody cares, right? It's not worth 4 hours of my time. That's not the message that we have to send. The message we have to send is, hey, we got over 1,000 people here, and we're all serious about the Second Amendment and our right to keep and bear arms. They're our God-given rights, our human rights, our civil rights. And no, you cannot have them. There will always be crazy people who are out there killing others. I'm talking about mass shooters here, right? Mass shooters, gangbangers, armed robbers, serial killers, you name it. Those people will always be with us. The important thing to me is that me and my family, we have the opportunity to protect ourselves. Because the cops aren't at my house right now. They're never at my house. I have to be able to protect myself from those kinds of evil people. And if I don't have a gun, I can't do it. The only problem with gun control is it doesn't work. It's never worked. And the liberals, they'll always say, but don't you want to feel safe? No, I don't want to feel safe. I want to be safe, okay? And the only way to be safe is for me to get some really good training and the best firearms that I can afford and, good hardware, good software, situational awareness, warrior mindset. That's what I need to be safe. There are different levels of safety, and I want to be as safe as I can possibly be, and that means that I have to have a gun. I've got to be armed. So that is what I'm talking about there, folks. And, but the liberals will say, well, if we could take away all the guns, even if it only saved one innocent life, wouldn't that be great? Well, you know what? Have you ever thought of this? If you come to our houses and try and confiscate our firearms, you're going to start a civil war. How many people died in the last Civil War? A lot of people, innocent people on both sides. Okay? So, you want to save innocent life? Stop trying to take our guns. Guns, according to the study by Gary Kleck, and it was certified by the CDC, private firearms in the United States are used over 2 million times for self-defense to thwart crimes, violent crimes. So, you want to save lives? Get your stinking hand out of my holster, okay? All right, we're about out of time here on the Home Defense Show. Go to Amazon.com. Check out Concealed Carry for Christians and also Civilian Combat, the Concealed Carry book. Also check out our sponsors, Suarez International. You want to learn to make that perfect headshot, go to SuarezInternational.com and sign up for a class with Gabe Suarez. That guy knows what he's talking about. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. And then you want to protect yourself from the legal system, so you want to go to firearmslegal.com/Midwest Tactical so that you can protect you and your family from the criminal justice system. And of course, hey, you need a good place to train here in the winter months, especially in those hot summer months. Go to centershotgunrange.com, centershotgunrange.com, to Dorr, Michigan, where it is always a perfect 70 degrees. All right, in a few days, we're going to have that video, how to make 5 headshots on the move from the draw in under 2 seconds. All right, 2amarch.com. Go check it out. Well, okay, folks, that about wraps it up for this week's episode of the Home Defense Show. Remember, your purpose in life is to find something greater than yourself and serve it. Always remember, God, family, country, in that order. It's important how you live, but it's equally important how you die. Your family and the ones you love need your protection, so train, always train, stay alert, stay alive. Until next week on the Home Defense Show, this is your host, Skip Coryell. God bless you, God bless your family, and God bless America.
Thank you for joining us this week on the Home Defense Show. Now, get out there and protect the ones you love. We'll see you next week with more of the best in home defense.
Bye-bye, boys! Have fun storming the castle!